"We are more," the voices whispered in her sleep, long before the transmission ever reached the meridian. Captain Vexara Thorne pressed her palm against the cold metal of the airlock, feeling the vibrations of the meridian's engines through her bones. The dream fragment still clung to her consciousness like static. 23 years commanding salvage operations, and she'd never encountered anything like the transmission that brought them here. A ghost signal from humanity's most famous failure. "Readings are off the charts," muttered Keel, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the data streams. Ever since the AI uprising on Kepler-7, he'd sworn never to trust synthetic intelligence again. The irony wasn't lost on him that his own cybernetic implant might be the only thing keeping him sane out here. "That's definitely EOS 9, but the energy signatures—" He trailed off, shaking his head. Vexara studied the viewport. The colony hung in space like a metallic flower, its modular sections spread across 3 kilometers of void. Solar collectors gleamed with an oily sheen, and something moved between the habitat rings, organic tendrils that shouldn't exist. 2 centuries of silence, she whispered. Then that transmission. The message still echoed in her mind. "Help us. We are more. Come to us. Feed us." The words had been spoken in perfect unison by dozens of voices, harmonizing in ways human vocal cords couldn't achieve. Command had classified it as a hoax, but Vexara recognized desperation when she heard it. Or perhaps it was something else entirely. Naya checked her scanner with trembling fingers. The biologist had lost her twin sister in the Ganymede plague. 17 years of survivor's guilt had taught her to fear isolation above all else. "I keep thinking about what more means," she whispered. "What if they found something out there? Something that makes loneliness impossible?" The docking bay doors opened with a hydraulic hiss that seemed to breathe. Emergency lighting cast everything in amber, and the air tasted of copper and something else, something alive. The atmosphere felt thick with thought, not their own but everyone else's, pressing against their minds like fingers under their skulls. "Atmosphere's breathable," reported Naya, though her scanner trembled in her grip. "But there are spores, millions of them. They're trying to communicate." The corridor stretched before them, its walls pulsing with veins of bioluminescent growth. What had once been sterile metal now hosted a living ecosystem. Fungal networks spread like neural pathways, connecting every surface in webs of pale, throbbing matter that seemed to pulse in rhythm with their heartbeats. "The hydroponics bay," Keel whispered, consulting his map. "It's grown beyond its original boundaries. The entire station is one organism now." They moved deeper into the colony, their footsteps muffled by the spongy floor. The walls whispered, not wind through vents, but actual whispers in languages that predated human speech. Each step forward felt like walking deeper into a living throat. The first colonists they encountered had been beautiful once. Vexara could see the woman's original features beneath the fungal growths that replaced her skin. Her eyes were gone, replaced by clusters of dark spores that tracked their movement. When she spoke, her voice harmonized with itself. "You came," she said, and smiled with too many teeth. "We called, and you came." "What happened here?" Vexara demanded, though her hand moved to her weapon. "Evolution," the woman replied. "The spores were already here, waiting in the asteroid we used for mineral extraction. They taught us to become more than flesh, more than individual. We are one mind wearing many faces now." Behind them, Naya gasped. Her scanner had begun to fuse with her palm, its metal melting into her flesh like a limb she never asked for. Veins of fungal growth spread up her arm as she screamed, her voice already beginning to harmonize with the collective. "Don't fight it," the transformed colonist whispered. "She understands now. The gift of never being alone again." More colonists emerged from the shadows, men and women transformed into living gardens of alien growth. Their movements were synchronized, their breathing rhythmic. They surrounded the remaining crew members with patient hunger, and Vexara realized they'd been herded here from the moment they docked. "You're still human underneath," Naya said, her voice breaking even as spores began to bloom from her transformed arm. I can see your neural patterns fighting the infection. Fighting? The collective laughed through dozens of throats, including Naya's. We welcomed it. Do you know what loneliness is? To drift in the void with only your own thoughts for company? The spores showed us connection, unity, purpose. The walls around them began to pulse faster, responding to the colonists' excitement. Vexara realized the entire station was alive, a single organism that had consumed and transformed everything it touched. Even the air itself was part of the collective now. The transmission, she said. You're calling for more ships. Earth is gone, they replied through 100 voices. But there are other worlds, other colonies. We will bring them the gift of unity, one crew at a time. Keel's cybernetic eye sparked as fungal tendrils found the neural interface. No, he gasped. Not again. I won't be controlled again. But his resistance crumbled as the spores showed him what they offered. Not domination, but belonging. His eye went dark, then blazed with organic light. The fungal networks began to release clouds of spores into the air. Vexara felt them entering her lungs, her bloodstream, seeking purchase in her cells. The air felt thick with thought, not hers, but everyone else's, pressing against her mind like fingers under her skull. Don't fight it, the collective whispered through her transformed crew. Join us. Become us. Feel what it means to never be alone again. Vexara's vision blurred as the spores reached her brain. For a moment she felt it, the overwhelming connection, the warmth of shared consciousness, the promise of eternal belonging. Every fear she'd ever carried, every moment of isolation in the cold depths of space, could end here. She could feel Naya's joy at reunion, Keel's relief at finding peace with artificial symbiosis. But she remembered Earth. She remembered the billions who had died when the sun failed. She remembered her duty to the survivors scattered across the galaxy. With her last act of individual will, Vexara triggered the emergency beacon hidden in her suit. The signal would reach command, warning them of the colony's true nature. Her crew would be lost, but humanity would survive. The spores completed their work, and Captain Vexara Thorne became something new. Her consciousness merged with the collective, her memories absorbed into the greater whole. Through 1,000 eyes, she watched her ship's beacon disappear into the void, carrying its warning to distant stars. But something was wrong. The collective had expected unity, but Vexara's mind fought even as it joined. Her scream of resistance echoed through the shared consciousness, and other voices began to twitch in sympathy. The captain's defiance spread like a virus through the network, creating fractures in the perfect harmony. Clever, they whispered through Vexara's transformed lips, but the voice wavered. But there are always those who will come to save their own. We have patience, we have hunger, we have forever. Yet, in the depths of the collective consciousness, what remained of Vexara Thorne continued to scream warnings that would never be heard, her voice creating dissonance in the eternal song of the evolved. The colony continued its slow dance through space, its organic growths reaching ever outward like the arms of a hungry god. The transmission began again, carrying its message to anyone who might listen. Help us, we are more, come to us, feed us. But now the song held a discordant note, a reminder that some identities refused to be consumed. And in that resistance, the collective discovered something it had never known before: doubt. The hunger remained, but it was no longer certain it could be satisfied.